Say, what's cracking, YouTube? It's your boy 16 to life, and I'm back like I'm on a pro violation. Yard down! Now, for those of y'all that's new to my page, in 1994, I got arrested. I was eventually sentenced to 16 years plus life, and I served 24 years straight in the California prison system. During those times, I accumulated some good stories. I'm going to share one with y'all today. If you like the story, be sure to hit the like button, leave a comment, subscribe. Most importantly, hit that notification bell. That way, anytime I drop a story, you will be notified ASAP, and you can hop on it whenever you're ready, man. Listen, I got some great stories. I keep telling y'all, man, check out my older content. Go to my YouTube playlist, and you will see that I have my stories organized in different categories and topics. And I guarantee you're going to find something that you like, man. Let's hop right up into this story. Excuse me, y'all. Okay, so this story takes place in 1996. I'm in the Riverside County Jail. The Robert Presley Detention Center is what it's known as. I'm in 3A, which is the Crip Tank, the third floor. By this time, I'm already sentenced to my time, man. Both of my cases has been adjudicated, finished, done with. I have 16 years plus life, and I'm just waiting on the bus, which they call the chain, to come get me and take me to prison. At this time, I got a Celly, man. My Celly is a young dude by the name of Shady. Shady was out of Riverside somewhere, but he didn't gangbang. Shady was probably like about 5'8", probably about 145 pounds, 150 pounds. You know, a thin dude. Real cool dude, man. Dark-skinned dude. And like I said, he didn't gangbang, you know, so he was cool, dude. It seemed like he was, just a tiny bit slow, man. It looked like he was just a tiny bit slow. So, I'd be in there, and I'm a clown by nature, man. So I'd be in there sometimes clowning with him and stuff, messing with him, just talking, And I used to tell him all the time, hey, man, listen, man, I've been locked up, man. Show me some of the new dances that's out there. He would also, because he used to tell me that he used to dance and stuff. So he would always refuse, So I'd be in there messing with him and stuff, And so he used to tell me he used to go to the Metro and dance. The Metro was a dance club out there in Riverside. And so he used to tell me all the time about, all the girls he'd be pulling and all this type of stuff, right? So I used to always tell him, man, show me a dance or something. I just was clowning with him, right? So one day he finally did it, man. Every time I heard this song from that point forward, it always made me think about him. So he was like, oh, no, man. No, I said, come on, man, show me a dance. He said, he on the top bunk. I'm talking to him while, he on the top bunk or whatever. Excuse me. So he finally jumped off the bunk. He said, all right, man, he said, I'd be out there like a la-da-dee, la-da-da, la-da-dee. This dude, he in a cell. He started voguing all in the cell dancing. La-da-dee, la-da-da. Looked like he just couldn't wait to break out and start dancing, man. Hey, I was on my bunk laughing like hell. And so every time I I hear that song, it reminds me of Shady, right? So also, now, there happened to be another dude in the tank, right, a Crip. He was from LA, but he was living in Riverside. I forget exactly where he was from and all that, but him and Shady had a couple interactions on the street or whatever, and he already didn't like Shady anyway. So one day we go out to play basketball, we get wrecked. They had a little like an area where you could go out there and you just walk through a little door and there was a basketball court and stuff out there. So we was out there playing basketball. Now, Shady playing basketball, Shady didn't play basketball. You obviously could tell, man, this dude was playing defense like a blind, uncoordinated 9-year-old or something. He just holding his hands. The dude's trying to run and shoot. He got his arms wrapped all around him, holding, You can't play basketball with your hands all out and just around the person and stuff. When a person run past you, you got to let him go. You can't just hold him with your hand. So the dude that didn't already like Shady, he told Shady one time, he said, hey, man, stop fouling me like that, man. Stop fouling me like that. Shady, like I say, he was uncoordinated, man. He moved real slow like a baby, brand new born deer. And he jumped up in the air, hit dude over the shoulder real hard. Dude turned around and said, hey, man, I'm telling you, homie, you got one more time, man. So the game is continuing. Dude is going to the basket again. And so before that, after he told him, hey, homie, you got one more time, I told Shady, man, look, switch, man. Let me guard old boy, right? And so, but you know how sometimes in basketball you get picked or screened or something happened where dude was going to do a layup. Shady ran over there again, all wild and stuff, fouled old boy. Soon as old boy came down, he spent on Shady. Beep, bop, boop, bop, boop, bop. He we got off on Shady, man, busted Shady up, hit him with so many hard lefts and rights, it was mandatory we stopped the fight. So we like, hey, homie, hey. Plus, sometimes they got a little booth that the guard sits in, and the guard is watching us play, but the guard wasn't there at that particular time. So Shady was busted up. Shady was done, you know. So Shady went over there and sat down. A few minutes later, it was time for us to go back inside, you know, to the day room. So I had to act like a usher at church and get Shady by the arm and escort Shady back to the cell. His face was all jacked up, man. His eyes was already swelling up. After we went back in the cell, I would say maybe about 30 minutes later, both of Shady's eyes was shut all the way down like Chick-fil-A on Sunday. I mean, that dude who couldn't see, you know, I'm telling him, man, just get up in the bed and chill. Don't trip, man. I'll go get your food and bring it in here and all that. But no, Shady was adamant about getting up out of there, man. It was time to go, man. So we got these little panic buttons in the cell, man. And so Shady went over there. It's like a little intercom. You hit the button and boop. Then the sheriff outside in the little like pod that he sits in, you know, he can hear you. Hey, what's going on? Oh man, yeah, I need to go, man. I need to go. So they let him out. I walk him to the door. You know, he goes out there, I guess told the guards that, you know, he had been in a fight or whatever. And that was the last time I seen or heard from old Shady, right? So about maybe 2 or 3 days later, I get another Celly. Now, this Celly is from L.A. This dude is a gang member. I ain't gonna say what gang he from. I'm gonna just call him D. So D, excuse me. So D, as he's telling me, right, he had been locked up for a while. I don't know how, maybe 7 or 8 months. And so they was holding him. Initially, he was in the federal detention center in Los Angeles because he had a federal case, a federal bank robbery case. But due to the fact that the robbery was in Palm Springs, which is in Riverside County, now that it was time for his trial to start, they brought him down here. So he had been going back and forth. When he'd have a court proceeding, they would bring him from LA, him and his crimees. It was about 3 or 4 of them. They'd bring them down from LA, bring them down to Riverside County. They'd go through the court proceedings, then they'd take them back to LA, to the federal building. Since they don't have one out in Riverside County, that was the closest one. So now that it was time for him to go to trial, he was back down here in Riverside. So what he was charged with was a bank robbery. And so what happened is this here. So I guess him, and of course, you know, he was telling me that, man, and that's crazy, man. He said, a family member of his uncle, had called him, asked him, man, if he wanted to go on this robbery. You know, I guess they was out there hitting banks and stuff. And he said, man, I told my uncle I'm cool, man. He said his uncle, you know, basically talked him into it. So he told his uncle, okay, man, listen, this is my last time doing this, man. You know, I'm cool on this. So I guess they had already had a bank picked out, like in Palm Springs, the Palm Springs area, right? And so it was him, his uncle, and a couple other dudes, man. So they was going to go down there, go rob the bank, get the bread, and be gone, right? And so now, for those of you guys not familiar with the area, Palm Springs is about 2.5 hours maybe east from Los Angeles. So they had to drive out from Los Angeles and go to Palm Springs. So they put the lick together. Here comes the time, the day, you know, that they didn't plan to hit this lick. So now what they doing is, I believe it was like 4 of them. They was in a van. So they was going to go down there, run up in the bank, hit the lick, rob the bank. Now they also had a white girl in a car, and she was going to be parked like 2 or 3 blocks around the corner from the bank. And then after they would leave the bank, they was going to jump in the car with the white girl and with the money, leave the van down there. I believe the van was stolen, or maybe it was vice versa. Maybe they was in a car and they was gonna hop in the van. But whatever, the white lady was gonna drive them back to LA. So they drive down there. They run up in the bank. They happen to hit the bank. They run up in the bank. You know, get down. They whip out with the guns. You know, they move people around and stuff. You know, they go in there. They get the bread. They lay people down. They get the bread. They get away with a lot of money, man. A lot of money. And so. So when they get back to the car, everything goes smooth. They get away with the money. They all get out the bank. They hop in the car. They leave. They go around, maybe 3 or 4 blocks wherever the lady was parked at waiting for him. The lady didn't panic and she didn't left. So now they stuck in a hard position now because, of course, they assuming that people seen the car that they was in, excuse me, and all that stuff. So now they in a conundrum. They in a predicament, right? Now they gotta plus. Now this is in 1995 or 96. So of course, they know they from LA. They know, or they're assuming that it's not a whole lot of blacks out there in Palm Springs. So now they don't want to be suspicious looking around driving in this car, right? And so they leave Palm Springs and start heading back towards LA. So now when they get to it's an area known as Cabazon. It's maybe about 20 minutes from Palm Springs. And now they got a whole lot of outlet malls and stuff. Now actually it's called the Cabazon Outlet Mall. At that time, the mall was up, but it was maybe about 10 or 12 stores. Now it's a gang of stores, right? So anyway, they debating what they should do. So they pull up in there and they get up in there. Now my Celly D is telling me that he's telling his uncle, hey man, let's just stay here. Let's just, let's get a hotel for the night. Let's stay here, But his uncle was like, no, man, because the freeway is the 10. So you got to take the 10. You got to take the 10, or you got to take the 60 from LA, and then it turns into the 10. It'll take you down to Palm Springs. So now they got to take the 10 going back. So his uncle was saying, no, man, listen, if we can just make it to the 60, we'll be good. The 60 is a bigger freeway, and it's, it takes you back to LA. But my Celly D, he adamant. He like, no, man, no, let's stay here. Let's get a hotel, man. Man, we can get a hotel. We can have somebody come down here and get us in the morning. We don't want to drive back in this car, right? So they going through this. Now, like I said, let me rewind a little bit. So now as eventually when D move up in the cell, of course, eventually me and him get cool. We talking. I tell him, hey man, I already got a life sentence. I'm getting ready to head to the pen. He starts telling me about, well, he's down here for a bank robbery, so on and so forth, right? So like I said, now he's going to trial. So I would ask him, I asked him a couple of times, man. I said, damn, how much time y'all looking at? He's like, I don't know, man. I don't even ask my lawyer. I don't care, man. I ain't gonna be found guilty. So I ain't even tripping on none of that. I ain't gonna get found guilty. So, but now, and so as we talking and he's going to trial, he's showing me some of his trial transcripts and papers and stuff. I guess they didn't realize that the bank that they went and robbed was a federal bank. So now it's more, the punishment is more, the punishment is a higher punishment than robbing a state bank. And then also, like I said, once they ran up in the bank, they got people up, moved them here to there. Even if you move a person a few steps at gunpoint against their will, that's considered a kidnap. So I know a kidnap in California is a life sentence. So, that's facing a lot of time. And then, like I said, they charges was federal anyway. So the dude is, showing me their transcripts and talking to me and stuff about his case. Of course, he nervous. He's going back and forth to court every day, man. The dude go to court. He get up in the morning, like maybe 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. He go to court, stay in the court all day. He come back. We got these jumpsuits on, these orange jumpsuits. Dude got on the jumpsuit all day. He come right back and get in the bed and, pull the covers over his head like he was stressing for a blessing or something. So at some point, man, he had a few homeboys up in there. I go get at his homeboys like, hey, man, old boy got to get his ass up in the shower, man. He's stinking up in here. He can't, dude ain't showering or nothing. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he thought using the soap would take away his hope. Or I don't know, man, I don't know if he thought, getting clean would take away his self-esteem. I don't know what it was, right? But the dude refused to shower, man. But I said, hey, man, listen, like I say, man, you smell and it's stinking up in here. You know what I'm saying? So his homies got at him. He finally started getting in the shower, right? So at some point in time, man, the dude showed me his transcripts, right? And I can't forget the exact figure now, but them dudes had got away with a lot of money, man. It was I think it was close to 300,000 to be split among like 4 of them, right? And so I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna keep it 100, man. When I seen that them dudes was out there getting all that money robbing banks, I felt like a damn idiot, man. I'm up here going to jail. I got a life sentence, man, and these dudes out here getting all this bread, right? I was like, man, I felt real stupid. Like I'm out here gang banging, and these dudes is getting big bread, So he's showing me some of the transcripts and this and that. And like I said, I asked him a time or two too. I said, well, damn, man, how much time y'all facing? He was just like, I don't know, man, and I ain't tripping. I ain't gonna be found guilty. I ain't tripping on none of that, man. I ain't gonna be found guilty. And so like I said now. So now they did the robbery. They didn't drove, they didn't pulled over, in this Cabazon outlet, which is still like maybe about an hour and a half from LA. They debating. His uncle though is adamant about trying to get back to LA. So they say, okay, cool, man, let's go then. So they hop in the car, they leave, they hop on the freeway. They on the freeway for about 5 minutes, my Celly said. Excuse me. They on the freeway for about 5 minutes, and the police get behind them. Now they coming through the town that I live in on the freeway, bandit. The police is behind them. Once they get past the town that I'm in, to the next town over, which is known as Beaumont, excuse me again, once they get to Beaumont, the sheriffs hit the lights on them. Yeah. So now they in a high-speed chase. Now, my Celly said they throwing money all out the window stuff, trying to get rid of the money. They throwing guns. So at some point, they pull over. And they don't know where they at because they from L.A. They ain't never been out this way before except for to scope the bank, right? So they pull over pretty much, as far as they concerned, in the middle of nowhere. So they all jump out the car, take off running. The police swoop on everybody, bring the dogs, and eventually they all get gaffled up. You know what I'm saying? So now, here they are. They all in court in Riverside, going to court, man. Like I said, I'm waiting on the chain to go to the pen and start doing my time. So my Celly's going back and forth to court. So now they finally, everything is over. They deliberating. We in there chilling, So also too, while we they going back and forth to court, they deliberating. So now on one of the days that they done it and the jury is out, we in the day room, we horse playing, or they horse playing. Remember I told you guys about the dude Wild D. Remember, Wild D was the dude who was getting ready to how should we say this, man, have his way with somebody's backsides, right? And the name of that story is he almost lost his cakes. And so they in their horse playing, right? And Wild D runs up behind my Celly and puts him in a chokehold. Chokes him, literally chokes this dude out in the day room, right? But they horse playing. But he got him, he got him in this chokehold. And my Celly go to sleep. When he let him go, my Celly just fall on the ground, His homie run over there and slap him on the face a little bit and wake him up. And I said to myself, damn, that's how he damn near, he damn near slid up an old boy. So definitely, without a question, Wild D was a chokeout artist, You like, good? Yeah, good. I told you, good. I could have had you, good. I'm telling you, good. But, yeah, good. So, that's the way he talked, right? So, Wild D wasn't, like I say, he wasn't no bandit, but I believe he had just done that to the other dude because the other dude fired on him and he felt disrespected. But anyway, so, they wake him up, man. He sit up. He out of it. You know what I'm saying? So, I think the next day or two, they came back with the verdict. And so my Celly, they called him. He went to court. He came back, man. Came back, faces long as a horse, man. They had found him guilty. So he came in the cell. He was all sad and stuff. I'm talking to him, man, and I asked him, now, damn, well, you don't know how much time y'all facing that? He like, no, man, I don't even know, man. I don't even know. I think he was in his late 20s, if I'm not mistaken, right? Maybe early 30s, right? But yeah, it was over for him. So, I caught the change before I actually found out how much time they actually gave him, man. But I was just tripping on, because I've seen it with a lot of people, and myself included, right? Even though I don't believe I had as much confidence as he had. But it's crazy how we will do certain crimes in the street. We will know without a doubt we're guilty. Like I say, he was guilty because he told me about everything. He admitted to everything and all that type of stuff, but he still believed in his heart he would not be found guilty. I don't know, what gives us sometimes some of us criminals the belief that despite knowing we're guilty, we are not going to be found guilty, right? So like I said, man, they found him guilty, his uncle guilty, all them dudes guilty. So before he was able to get sentenced, I caught the chain. So I didn't never find out how much time he ended up getting, man. But yeah, that was just a crazy story right there about my one of my Cellys who was a bank robber, man. And like I said, the dude was getting a lot of bread, man. From that particular bank robbery, I think it was somewhere close to 300,000. But like I said, he never got to spend it. So don't get caught up in that situation thinking you can go out there and hit a lick, because eventually they gonna get you. And keep in mind, this was way back in 96, I believe, before the technology was so sophisticated like it is today. But anyway, you already know what it is, man. It's your boy 16 to life. Resume normal program.